Video games, often seen by many as mind-numbing time sinks, wasting hours of people's precious lives. But can a world filled with pixels, avatars, and fictional economies teach us real skills like managing money or getting rich? This might surprise you. We're going to dive into the digital worlds of some of your most favourite games. I'm talking World of Warcraft, The Sims, Minecraft, Monopoly, yes, it's not just a board game, Runescape, Skyrim, to discover some unexpected lessons about money that they've taught me and how they can translate into real-world financial wisdom. Back when I was a kid, I played a lot more games than I do now as an adult, but somewhat still had a balance. But like every kid at the time, I played Runescape. Now, luckily I never got addicted to the game, but I had my fair share of playing it when I was around 10 or 11. Runescape is typically all about grinding for hours to level up skills, collect resources, and try to reach level 99 to get the skill capes. The need for gold in these games is evident from the get-go. Now, in the real world, you can't exactly just punch goblins for money, and in most cases, most of us don't mine ores for our paycheck, and not all of us are fishermen. The player-to-player trades means you have to haggle with other people in an attempt to make a profitable deal. It's here where I learned a little about negotiation, the art of reaching a mutually beneficial agreement, and also I learned the hard way a few times from these kinds of games about the danger of scammers. Look, if Jimmy from Lumbridge is going to scam you out of a bunch of steel bars, Jimmy from East London is probably going to scam you for your steel watch. But the Grand Exchange was the centerpiece for the economy in RuneScape, acting as a marketplace concept where supply meets demand. This is where I learnt about supply versus demand. The price of lobsters would fluctuate depending on how many players were selling them versus buying them. This was an example of it in action, teaching me that the value of goods is not static but dynamic, and it's influenced by a lot of various external factors. Also, RuneScape taught me the importance of diversifying income streams. I wasn't just a miner, I was a fisherman, a blacksmith, a warrior. Just like in real life, relying on single sources of income can be risky, and just setting yourself up for failure and having multiple skills to generate more income can act as a safety net, but also he who chases two rabbits catches none, which means don't do multiple things at once. Minecraft is a game that seems so simple on the surface, but it also has some underlying principles that reflect many aspects of real-world finance and economics. Here, it wasn't about gold coins or a marketplace, but a very basic fundamental of resource management. The game subtly teaches you the concept of scarcity. Resources like diamonds, gold, or time are finite. You have to decide how to use what you have in an efficient way. Will you spend your last 3 diamonds on a pickaxe, or hold off until you're stacked enough to get full armor? It's a lesson in opportunity cost, a balancing act between intermediate needs versus future goals. In Minecraft, you have to think creatively about utilizing resources, like logs to planks, crafting tools, building structures. It's a metaphor for turning raw materials into profitable products, something that lies at the heart of entrepreneurship, which I've learned running my own online business through YouTube. Then there's villager trading. Every villager has different items to trade, and their demands can vary. It's constant negotiation, much like the real-world marketplace, where the trade of goods and services is based on a perceived value. Now, World of Warcraft is where I really tried to game the system with money. This game is probably one of the only games I've truly no-lifed at some point, along with Gary's mod. I played this game from age 11 to maybe age 17 or 18. When I was 15 or 16, I could play this game literally for 8 to 12 hours a day. That may not seem abnormal for teenagers, but adults just let that sink in. Now though, I can barely play most games for more than an hour a day, but it's interesting how those things change. But WoW is a fully fledged virtual economy, buzzing with trade, investments, and of course, gold. It has its own scene on trying to become rich in its virtual world, with people trying to be a millionaire. As a teenager, I was trying to become a millionaire in this game, although now I'd much prefer putting effort in trying to get there in real life. But back then, it was all about chasing the coveted gold cap of 1 million gold, to be one of the richest players on the realm with one of the most expensive mounts. With WoW, everything is behind a gold wall, where the most prized possessions cost an obscene amount. In WoW, it's all about grinding. It mirrors real life pretty perfectly. Think about grinding just like having a job in real life, working for someone else. If you can't afford a shiny new set of armor, you have to put in the hours, completing quests or farming enemies in the in-game zones. It taught me the essential concept that money can be traded for time, and that this clearly wasn't the ideal way of doing things. The same that of course can be said in real life. On the flip side though, the real lessons of finance came from playing the infamous auction house in WoW. It's like its own game all in itself. Here you can buy and sell items to others, setting prices based on supply and demand, similar to the stock market in real life. And just like real world investing, there's an element of speculation and risk taking. I remember I'd spend all my gold on a rare item, hoping to flip it for a hefty sum of profit, only to find its value plummeted the next day, or some kid just undercut my price by 1 copper, leading to making no sale. It taught me the brutal lesson of the volatility of markets and the risk of making any kind of investment. And of course there's guilds, which kind of operate just like businesses or syndicates, a mirror of real world cooperatives, pooling resources, strategizing together, distributing rewards. It's all about teamwork and shared financial responsibility. This part taught me that having other people to outsource part of the work to can lead to making much quicker progress, just like in a business. This is especially true with YouTube because you have to be a jack of all trades, especially if you edit yourself like me. Now, you know I had to put The Sims on here because it's a life simulation game after all, with some unique insights on financial management. The moment you begin playing, you're given a set of simoleons. Bet you didn't know that was the name of the in-game currency, right? The challenge? Build a life, construct a house, buy furniture, pay bills, and keep your sim happy. The Sims was my first real introduction to budgeting. I quickly learned that if I splurged all my simoleons on a lavish house, I'd be too broke to furnish the place, let alone pay for the utility costs or on things to make my Sims have fun or be happy. It was about balancing wants versus needs, a crucial part of real world budgeting. Also, I learned the importance of investing in yourself and skills. For an example, a sim with a higher skill level in cooking, for instance, can get a better paying job. It's the game's way of showing that investing in yourself, be it in education or personal development, can lead to a higher income potential, just like in real life. Climbing up the career ladder in the game is just as hard as in the real world. It requires consistent effort, managing of your mood, and ensuring you have the right skills. And it teaches you that financial growth is tied to career progression. And like in life, if you have no money, you're probably not going anywhere. And then there's the concept of loans. Need that fancy TV now but can't afford it? No problem. Buy it now and pay later. But remember, debt, like outside of the game, comes with interest and that quickly snowballs if not managed properly. Except it's probably less of a problem in The Sims than if you get buried in debt in real life. So take that lesson from Sims. Skyrim, with its sprawling landscapes and rich lore, was my gateway into a fantasy world where wealth takes on a slightly different meaning. In Skyrim, it's not just about hoarding your septims, it's about accumulating resources, goods, and even relationships to aid in your growth. Just like in real life, wealth isn't defined by how much money you have, but also by the assets and relationships which you build along the way. This was one reason why I see building a like-minded circle is so important. Bartering is an integral part of Skyrim's gameplay. The game's barter system taught me the essence of trade, how goods and services can often hold as much value as cold hard cash, and that having great people skills, a knowledge of sales, and being a wordsmith can help you get a better deal, just like in business, because everything in real world is sales. It's a powerful lesson in understanding the various forms wealth can take. Skyrim does also subtly instill the concept of investment. Take property ownership, for instance. Buying a house in the game isn't simply just a status symbol, it's a safe place to store your things and even a source of income if you choose to invest into the certain upgrades that they have, especially in the Hearthfire DLC where you get better properties with upgrades. Monopoly is a cultural phenomenon, and before most of us played video games, we played board games, or at least that was what happened in my generation. And if you think a bit deeper, you'll learn a thing or two from this game. And while the digital version might not give you the satisfaction of physically hoarding all those paper bills, it does a fantastic job of teaching us about property investment, negotiation, and the role of luck in finance. The premise is simply buy properties, collect rent, and try to bankrupt your opponents, which always makes for a fun and aggressive game at Christmas time. But beneath this simplicity lies a wealth of lessons. One of the core strategies of Monopoly is property investment. This is a game all about real estate after all. From the moment you start, you're encouraged to buy properties, assets that generate you income via rent. The more expensive the property is, the higher the rent. It's a lesson of the power of passive income and the role of investment in generating cash flow. Then it also teaches the art of negotiation. It isn't just about buying buying properties is also about trading them. Whether you're convincing your opponent to sell you that coveted boardwalk or trying to avoid paying those hefty rent prices, negotiation is key. It's a lesson of persuasive communication, which is a vital skill in real-world finance. But I also learnt the role of luck. For an example, a roll of the dice can land you on free parking or send you straight to jail. It's a reminder that while strategy is essential, there's always elements outside of our control, and being prepared is a key part of financial planning. What did you think of this video? It was a little bit of a different theme, but I found this quite interesting to make. And did you learn anything about money from games yourself? Did you have a similar experience? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know if there's any that I missed from this list. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Thanks for watching.